Yeah, so hello everybody. I'm Sourish, and even this is a spot of the moment thing due to article request of Abhirubda. So I'm gonna narrate you some of my interview experiences in masters and Ph.D, which may help you. Nonetheless, it's unique to all of you. What you do, but there are some common technicalities that you should maintain, some common ideas, some common things you should keep in the back of your head. So let me just first narrate the interviews a bit, and then let me first start by introducing myself. I'm Sourish, and I'm currently a first year JRF at Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, and I'm currently interested in commutative algebra and algebraic geometry primarily, but anything algebraic attracts my interest. So, so my first interview that I gave was that of TFR CAM. So in 2023, this was an integrated PhD interview. So it was around evening. It was around evening by the time they called me. So I was a bit nervous at first. So they asked me what my interest was. So I liked analysis, and I knew TFR CAM was an analysis heavy place. So I told them analysis and linear algebra. So one of the profs started asking me questions on linear algebra. The first question was, can you give me an example of, do you know what a minimal polynomial is? So I said yes. Can you give me an example of a 2-cross matrix with a minimal polynomial that has no roots in the underlying field? So I said, and he told me to do over R. So that's easy. Then he asked me for a 3 cross 3 order one. I said I can't do it because every 3 cross 3 polynomial has a root. When he said I said because it's irreducible. It's because every 3 degree polynomial over R is reducible. So he asked me why. So I went to tell like C over R has degree 2 field extension, C is algebraic closed. So he stopped me. He said don't use that, and that was a very good thing because I didn't know algebraic closed fields that well then. So if he wanted, he could have you could break down. Okay, so first thing is you should be confident over what you know and try to do stuff from basic, at least in masters. So that's one suggestion. And then so when he asked me to prove it from a little basic, so why a 3 cross 3 polynomial doesn't have a root, so it's easy. And so it's kind of uses IVT. I caught the stuff, but I could not end it, so that was easy. But they encouraged me nonetheless. Then they asked me, do I know uniform convergence? And so I said them yes. So they told me if Fn is uniformly convergent, F is uniformly convergent. So Fn is continuous, F is continuous, one uniformly converges to other. So does Riemann integration over a closed interval also converges to that? So I said yes. They asked me to prove. That was easy. So then he asked me for like indefinite integrals, like over one side is infinity. What I mean is that. So I couldn't do it. So that's okay. That's no problem. Then they, as far as I remember, they asked me some other question. They asked me, he gave me an approximation. So something like a summation, you use some sine pi by pi x by 50 or something, and using the monotonically increasing of sine using integrals to approximate it. So yeah, so they were very encouraging throughout the whole process. And lastly, so they gave me a question. So if something like that, f is a function from R to R greater than equal to 1, and if prime x is less than equal to fx, something like this. So is f uniformly converges? So one thing that strike me obvious at the moment was not necessarily, because so maybe it was not 1, it was maybe greater than 2 or something. So what struck me at that moment was that no, because x square is just an example, so it has this condition, and it did it. So they said me it would never happen. So I had to use some properties. So and the interview ended. Fortunately, I got selected. I could not join there because I had other aim in mind. So sorry. So that was the interview. So then there came the ISI M.Math interview, and this was a very cool. This was very interesting experience. So they first asked me in the interview. This happened in ISI Bangalore. So these are all in 2023. So these are my masters. So in 2023, they kind of asked me that. Let me keep to the masters one only right now. So in 2023, they asked me that the first question was, Do you know what the direct sum of groups is? I said my group interest was group theory and analysis stuff. So I said yes. Can you say what a direct sum is? I just did for finite and they were happy with that. So then they asked, can Q be written as a direct sum of Z or cyclic groups? So I showed why, because just direct sum of Z. So I showed because it is not finitely generated as a abelian group. Then they asked me that does Q have a subgroup? So Q is abelian, so every subgroup is normal. So does Q have a subgroup of finite index? So I have read maximal subgroups once in a while, and I just commented that no, because yes, because we can take any maximal subgroup of Q. So that was an error. So they stopped me. So they said Q has a maximal subgroup. Show that Q has no maximal subgroup. So the question diverged, and this was a little difficult question for me at that time. So they gave me some hints, and using that hint, I could prove that Q has no maximal subgroups, and using the hints, I could also show that Q has no subgroup of finite index. So that I could show. Not even finite index. There is no subgroup of Q that Q by H is cyclic. So that I could show. That follows from the finite index stuff, and so that was the first group theory part. And then one asked me on function analysis. So they gave me two norms. So I knew this part. So they gave me one L1 norm and an L infinity norm on C01, and they asked me whether the identity map is continuous or not. I said yes. Was it an homeomorphism? So the identity map, the inverse map, was also continuous. So I said no, because I use the x squared, so it does not uniformly converges under. So L1 norm, and another was, I guess, the uniform convergence norm. So that thing. So it does not converge in uniform convergence norm to 0, but it converges to under. So in C01 under L1 norm it converges to 0, but not under that uniform convergence norm. So that supremum. So supremum norm. So yeah, so I got selected there too, and I did my M.Math from ISI. So I gave some Ph.D. interviews at then later, which was a more vivid experience that I would narrate later maybe. So it was in TFR Mumbai and HRI, IIT Madras, also ISI Kolkata. I gave an interview in U Tokyo also and in IMSC, but they were of different flavors. It's not suitable for master students right now, I think. So my suggestion would be, not advice, my suggestion would be, so first of all, have depth in whatever you study. Don't try to bring tools which you have very less knowledge about. That has chance to turn the interview bad. Think out aloud. You are there to have a conversation with them. You want to convey to them how you think. So you need to think out loud. You have to have a conversation with them. You have to show them your thinking process, so they can give you hints corresponding to it. They want to see your thinking process. So it's not like you know a problem, you do it. That's not what they want you to see. They want to see how you think. So that's a priority. And be calm, it's okay. So that's a generic advice that I would give. And don't feel bad if you cannot do one problem. Like interviews are very unpredictable, and just